Good morning. It is Sunday. It's Sunday again. Can you believe it? My name is Dustin. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. How are you doing? Oh, it's November. Can you believe that it's already November? Good morning, Evelyn. And she's saying, looking forward to seeing some of you on Saturday, AMO Friendsgiving. That is correct. If you are interested in coming to Indiana, hanging out with me, Evelyn, Jackie, Jennifer Lucas, Andy, I do believe that she will be there as well. Take a look at lowcarbevents.com and you can find out all the details that you need to get yourself hanging out with us this weekend. Excited. Ah. Andy says, I can't wait for this week to be over so I can see you again. Becky's here. Good morning, Becky. Matt Franklin is here. Good morning, sir. So glad to see you. Andy said, still waiting on my internet to be restored, going on 40 hours. Oh. She said, I upgraded my Mint Mobile to unlimited because I was going stir crazy. Still can't use any of my computers to do YouTube stuff for my channel. So now that you've updated to unlimited with Mint Mobile, hopefully that doesn't cost a whole lot extra. Are you able to hotspot it and use your computers and TV and all that stuff? Inquiring minds want to know. Jeff Foltz is in the house. Good morning, my friend. I hope you are doing good. Uncle Big Guy hanging out. Good morning, all the way from Kansas. Woo! Shelly King's in the house. Good morning, Shelly. John Gugahan, good morning, all. Running a little late this morning, getting ready for church, but I have you on in the background. Well, that is fantastic. So glad you are here, my friend. Let's see. Andy says, I've never been up this early. I slept like crap. I'm here. Oh, my goodness. And we got an extra hour of sleep. Let's see. Matt says, after a busy day yesterday with our meetup, I'm glad I got an extra hour of sleep last night. I really needed it. Yeah. So my friends had a friend of mine had a Halloween party last night, so I went and visited with some friends. And on my way home, I got derailed or detoured because of all the Swift traffic. Taylor Swift is playing Indianapolis 3 nights in a row, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And we can't afford to go. I want to take the granddaughter to see her because she's a huge Swiftie, and I wanted her to go see her. But I mean, she's playing a 64,000 seat arena 3 nights in a row, completely sold out. So nobody can afford tickets. I don't understand how anybody's at that venue. They're playing where the Colts play. Let's see. It's a freaking nightmare. Internet being out is so crazy. I'm telling you what. Brian Doyle's in the house. And he says, hello, Dustin. Heath is here. Good morning, Heath. I trust that everything went well for your Friday night feast. I watched for a good while, and then Chandra called, and we had the kids on like a conference call, talking to them and doing stuff. So, yeah. Bells will be ringing. Jennifer Lucas is here. Good morning, Jennifer Lucas. Sharon Holloway is here. I still need to talk to Sharon about merch, t-shirts, and things. Christian Delorme is here. Bonjour, everybody. Wee wee. I went wee wee before we went online. Joe is here. Hello, all. I'm awake for early. Just need to make my coffee. Coffee is good. Good morning, Charlie. Andy says they've never done a hotspot, but they should be coming this morning to get it fixed. Becky, I have 10 gigabytes for hotspot. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. Yeah, because our internet went out. When we first got fiber, and then it just went out of nowhere. And I guess they were setting somebody else's up and turned ours off by mistake or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty silly. We were running our TV, our Fire Stick with our phones. No sound. You can't hear me? Are you sure? Can everyone else can hear me? Yeah. I'd imagine that we're 6 minutes in. People would have told me that they can't hear me or not. I got busy last night. Was thinking I got to sleep. Need to be up early. Yeah. They bought tickets last July. That's how they could afford it. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Yeah, I got an hour back. Brick says his comments aren't working on his PC. Well, you better get your local IT iguana to take a look at it for you. Yeah, so everything went good. That's good. Good. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. All the food looked good. Coffee is delicious. Coffee is delicious. My cat is attacking me. Well, you know how that goes, right? Andy says she's hearing me just fine. Okay, fantastic. All right. So, um, I feel like some information. I'm going to talk about some information. So like one thing that Keto Chow is doing right now, and I only bring this up. Typically, I wouldn't talk about anything like this, but they're doing a thing where they're trying to help us creators out that are affiliates with them and help you guys out. Um, so they're doing a special thing with the My Chow subscription boxes. There's a surprise box and the custom boxes. The surprise box, obviously 20% off your first box with pre-selected flavors for a monthly surprise. You can choose your serving size 20, 30, 60, or 90 meals per month. I know a lot of you, or some of you, are really into Keto Chow, and this offers a little bit of flexibility for you guys. Free shipping on your orders, pause, cancel anytime. Then the custom orders are customizable. Choose your favorite flavors and meal quantities. Increasing discounts, you 15% first box, 17% second and third boxes, 20% off your fourth box and beyond. Free shipping. As always, pause or cancel anytime. Though there is a deal here that if you get in on this before, if you sign up before November 25th, you get there's a Black Friday deal or something that you get early access to a Black Friday, 20% savings, free shipping, and all that stuff. So take a look at that, and then we do as creators, we do get an extra 10%. So that'll be nice for all those who utilize our link. It helps us out a lot. It gives you a good deal. I just want to talk about that as they did ask me to do that, but um, let's see. Shelly said, I had a friend at work that had Taylor Swift tickets from Miami. He sold two for 5,000 each. Oh my goodness. I guess this is the last stop on the tour. So there's people coming from all over the country to catch the last stop. And people here were mad because, well, people have been in other cities and seen it already. It's like, that's just how it works. She's doing 3 nights in a 64,000 seat arena. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 4 or 5 nights. I don't know. Crazy. Looks like they work from your tablet. Look at you with your technology, Rick. I found an earbud laying on the nightstand that activated on its own. Oh, okay. Let's see. Rick says, what's interesting that I was trying to comment on different channels yesterday. Nobody answered. Now I know why. Oh, let's see. Bonus, says Brian, got to the bottom of the chest freezer and found 10 pounds of burger from my last cow hiding in the bottom. Moo. Brenda Foley says, good morning. Jennifer Lucas says, ew, Keto Chow, as if. Yes, I did see Nick Norwitz's post about Element. Yeah, I did see that. And actually, at the party last night, a friend of mine gave me 2 3-stick packs of Element. But he had no idea about the whole controversy or anything like that. He was totally out of it. Has no idea. Dustin is here. Good morning, Dustin. This they have not told me. And if they told me, I probably couldn't tell you yet anyway. So I'm going to say I have no idea. And that's legitimately the truth. I don't know. I don't know. They may or may not. I know they've been having issues with their mixes and stuff and like the quality that's come back. Prints are going great with a new printer, looking fantastic when they are done. Well, that is awesome. Let's see. Rick says, I knew that if I tested my chat on this channel, I would get to the bottom of the problem because Dustin always answers. I do my best. Now, the problem with that is knowing that you're going to get your chat, that we're going to talk and chat. That means I don't get as many super chats. Because I see that in these I see this in, the big channels, obviously, where there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. But it's like I was talking about this, like, that's just one of those things. Like, when you do talk to everybody and you read every chat as it goes through, that's kind of a downside to that. But what are you going to do? I love you guys. I really want gingerbread for fudge. Evelyn's waiting for eggnog. I just want pecan sticky bun. And I don't know. I just want chaffle flavors. Chaffle flavor keto chow is what I want. Dustin at Play says, oh, so last week on All In Podcast, they were talking about how underrated picanha is. Now I'm worried that there will be a run on the best cut of meat and that will be driven up the price. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we can't even get it here. So, I mean, that's going to impact people who can get it. It's not in our stores. Like, I never see it ever. Andy is making a keto pumpkin roll for Friendsgiving on Saturday. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, Rick says he always responds to every comment on the channel. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what this is for, just to hang out with you guys. Now, I mean, it's a little different if I on a Saturday and I have a guest on and we're talking and they're telling a story and there's a lot less time for interactions, Don't worry, when meat is expensive in the grocery store and chicken and duck and iguana is free in the parking lot. I was thinking about you when I was listening to Joe Rogan yesterday. He had, let me look up this guy's name. He's like a senator from Pennsylvania. Let me look this up real quick. John Fetterman. So Joe Rogan had John Fetterman on, and he's a senator from Pennsylvania. And I guess right as he was winning the seat, he had a stroke. And then he had to work through the stroke, and now he's back into doing his normally scheduled stuff. And they were talking about the whole Haitian situation in Springfield. Not to bring up this or talk about this, but it was just funny because they were like, People aren't eating geese and ducks, and Joe Rogan's like, well, yeah, they probably are because duck is delicious, and people like duck. And I'm thinking that they're go down to Miami. There's a guy in Miami eating all the ducks and iguanas. Yes. Yeah, iguana. No. Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I actually got a peppermint pack when I was at KPL. I have it in my bag still. I'm excited about it. It's like I get these packs and I'm like, and then I just hold on to it because I'm like, if I use it, I don't have it anymore. So, you know. And Rick says, don't worry. Yeah, agree. Iguana. Yeah, so we talked about that. Sunny Chronicles. Good morning, Dustin and everyone. I don't think you sang that, but I did for you, just in case you were wondering. He says that I'm super sad that Keto Chow is discontinuing spicy taco and creamy tomato basil. I use both of those flavors on the regular for cooking, but not as shakes. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine a spicy taco shake. Whoo! Creamy tomato, maybe, but at least, and I know it's not the cleanest option, but Walmart's, I know for sure, carry the Progresso keto tomato soup in a can. It's like one serving per can, like $3 here, like $3 a can. I actually scored 3 cans the other day for $1.50 a piece for clearance. I was pretty excited about that. So it just means they must not have sold very well. Imagine they were just sitting around. They were like, well, we'll just discontinue it. But I used a spicy taco and some chili not too long ago, and it was all right. And I still have a couple packs of creamy tomato that I want to try. Now I'm going to be like, if it's really good, I'm going to be bummed out that I won't be able to get any more. Becky loves duck eggs. Lynn is here. She says, good morning, all. Well, that's one way to get me on here early. Have a time change. That messes me up. Hey, Dustin, I'm coming for Friendsgiving November 9th. See you there. All right. I will bring your stuff, Lynn. I will bring your package of things that you won from me that we haven't given you yet because you live in the city and it was silly to mail it. I still think it would be funny as a prank to make a savory ice cream. I mean, it would be weird. Brenda says I used tomato basil in my Instant Pot roast yesterday. It was delicious. He says I'm just going to have to go back to using fresh tomatoes to make barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce. Sharon says I need to find or make white chocolate chips without erythritol. Until then, I'm no longer making Keto Chow fudge. I miss sticky bun fudge. So does Lily's have does Lily's have erythritol? I can't remember. Because I find a lot of like that. I find white chocolate Lily's all the time. Matt, the tomato keto chow is actually pretty good as ice cream. That sounds hideous. Brian says, after all the element stuff, I'm stopping all sugars and sugar substitutes to see if it will get me back on track. I've been finding that, and it's something that never really bothered me before, but aspartame has started to kind of bother me a little bit, like makes me a little itchy. So I've been doing my best to avoid like aspartame soda. It is kind of difficult. I mean, I've got a bunch to go through, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. I won that drawing so long ago, I forgot why and how I won. Or did you forget what you won? Rick says, I use fermented tomatoes to make a sauce. Look at you using something that's not an iguana. I'm proud of you, Rick. I try to cut down on sweeteners. Yeah, I mean, they're just sometimes they just kind of, what is it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, we'll have to look it up and see. I don't know. No keto chow, salty, monk fruit, stevia, etc. Oh no. Well, you can use the core. There's no sweeteners in the core, and then there is no. You can get the clean slate salty. That's good. I used to just use some clean slate, some clean salty before I this to get the electrolytes in before this very live stream. Oh yes. So there's the unsweetened core, and there is the clean slate salty. If you were so interested. And the people are saying hello to each other. So I titled this live, It's Carb Season, for a reason. Because it's carb season. You know, we just had a candy holiday. We're going to follow that up soon with a pie and turkey holiday, followed up with more desserts and things holiday, and then, New Year's. Um, as we prepared for trick or treating on Thursday, um, I can't say that I got suckered into this, but they were like, "Hey, they're going to stop and pick up um, uh, Little Caesars hot and ready pizzas. Do you want one?" And my answer should have been no, but I said, "Yeah, give me a sausage." Then I had the sausage pizza as I'm sitting there passing out candy, eating pizza because I was hungry like a dum dum. Okay, I'll be the first to admit, dum dum. This guy right here, dum dum. Um, and passing out candy, and then I had some candy too, and it just totally messed me up. That was not good. Um, I don't know. I mean, even bad pizza is still good. And we haven't had hot and ready pizzas. I don't even know when, like 6, 7. It's before we went keto. I'm pretty sure. So it had to be like 9 years. 9 years ago, we would get them all the time. Just go and pick up 6 of them, one for each kid, whatever. Man. Oh, let's see. Andy says allulose is supposed to have some health benefits. I try to make my egg white bread. Yeah, I mean, it just about. I think just having. I think I was the most successful in the very beginning when I wasn't using any sweeteners at all, and then once everything started kind of coming into play with, you know, then more products are hitting the market with sweeteners, and then they opt, and then I ended up having a soda, and then I was like, oh, this tastes good, so I started drinking sodas again, and yeah. Evelyn's asking if Uncle Big Guy's coming next week. Cindy DeManch is in the house. Good morning, my friend Cindy. Let's see. Jen says, dude, it's meat and deviled egg season. Let's see. Dustin says, does anybody have a link to the Keto Chow page about adding gelatin to the shakes because some people have a stomach ache with them? Is the gelatin supposed to alleviate the stomach ache issue? I don't know if I've heard about this yet or not, so I'm not sure. I gained all my weight in eating pizza from Wise Pies and Terre Haute from 2014 to 2017. I don't know Terre Haute very well. I was just, well, I was actually there just like last week, I think. I drove my brother there to pick up a car, but I mean, I stopped at a gas station and got a Coke Zero, but outside of that, I don't really know much about Terre Haute. I brought Keto Chow fudge to Ash yesterday. Every time somebody offers me pizza, I just imagine you're always making quacking sounds. No. It's just one of those things like I sometimes I have like this really strong resolve and I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And then one day somebody, do you want this? I'm like, yes. And like my like resolve is gone. And I don't know if anybody else has that or not, because it seems like a lot of times in our community, people like you only really hear about the super strong resolve. Like, I don't ever do this, or I haven't done this. And I'm like, I try and I do very well most of the time. And again, my whole thing is consistency. How consistent can I be to where if I if I am in a situation where I have pizza and some candy, which I mean I don't recommend because that just made me feel awful. Even knowing that, it's like your body goes, you know what? I want that. And it's just such a weird thing. They just opened a new Little Caesars in the shopping center in front of our neighborhood. Luckily, I have always resisted heading over there. I didn't go over there. Like, they brought it to the house and it was like a rowdy bunch and house was full of little kids and yeah. It can be the stress. The stress does come into play quite a bit. And I try not to let it because I know that I feel better if I don't give in to the stress. Oh, but man, that stress is a trigger for that bad food. It's so weird because I spent so much time self-medicating almost with food. Bad day, food. Good day, food. We're going out to have a good time, food. So it's difficult to not let that creep back in. And I think they do a really good job most of the time. But there's just time they're like, do you want one? Yes. It's disappointing because I get disappointed in me because I should know better. I should do better. I should be better. And he said I had to travel back and forth between STL and Ohio for custody visitation. Emotional pizza eating at its best and worst. There is a pizza place that I will never turn down, and that's at a place in Alabama. But I mean, we got to be in Alabama for that, and we're not there every year. So, you know, no Uncle Big Guy this time. Well, we'll be doing it again in May, so be on the lookout for that. And there may be a meetup in Northern Indiana in April, so be on the lookout for that. If anybody is near the Northern Indiana side, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, there's a meetup in the works there, so be on the lookout for that. Nothing concrete yet, not even a real solidified date yet, just kind of a date range. So just be thinking about that as well. Good thing is there's a lot of keto options to replace the carb crap that we used to eat. Yes, there is a good amount, but sometimes it's just, you want it? Okay. And I'm before I even have a real opportunity to even think about it. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Let's do it. So there's a video where Chris and Miriam talk about adding gelatin. How was your visit with Chris? Yeah, you will be missed, my friend, Mr. Uncle Big Guy. Yeah, pizza is just one of those things. It's so realistically, okay, and I say this over and over again. And let me know your thoughts. If the nutritional guidelines in the United States were accurate, pizza would be the best health food on the market. If, and I'll repeat this again for you, for everybody in the back. If the United States nutritional guidelines were accurate, correct, then pizza would be the ultimate health food. Am I wrong or am I right? I think I'm right. Jen says, let's go to Panooni's and get a crustless pizza and wings. No guilt. I've had their actual, like their 30-inch pizza before we went keto. We used to get their 30-inch pizza because it would feed us like the entire weekend. 5 of us would eat like for 3 days on that pizza. It was like $50, but I mean, goodness. I'm seriously thinking about starting a 3D print channel, show how to 3D print from a newbie point of view. Yeah, that'd be awesome. You could even do live streams where you just have the camera on your print while it prints on live. That'd be pretty dope too. I have my buddy Mark does that. It's a channel called Mark D with the C. He does that. So I would take a look at that and see what you think. That's a little too much. Trying to get it towards not so much. Stress sucks and pizza is the worst for me. It's just so good because it's like one of those things you just don't stop eating it. You just eat it and eat it. And like I ate almost an entire large pizza. Good morning, Black Marker Gaming. Good morning, my friend. How are you doing? It's been a while, I think. If you've been here before, I do try to remember all of that, and I do forget things. Let's see. Cindy is saying that it was awesome. Thank you. Got to watch them record a video for their channel, and we recorded one together for mine. Those will be out some point for sure. Oh, yeah. You guys went down and cooked with Chris. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds awesome. Becky said, Little Caesars Crazy Bread was my Saturday treat growing up in Michigan. I remember before Little Caesars, I remember when they were like, obviously you had to always go pick up the pizza, but like you get the 2 pizzas and it would be in like the paper bag. My mom would go get that and it would be there was a Little Caesars. It wasn't really close to the house. We'd drive a little ways. The building's still there, I remember, but yeah, things like that. Little Caesars had to go get it. And it was like pizza. And then like the hot and ready stuff came along and it was like, whoa. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what this means. Mia on C. Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. I don't know what's happening. Greetings from Tampa Bay. United Carnivores in the house. The only pizza we do eat is what we make. Most part, only exception was meeting up with you guys at a Rockstar. Yeah, Rockstar Pizza is the best pizza. I know that it didn't sit well with Brian, but it's pretty delicious pizza. Yeah, our May meetup, Joe and Rachel are going to try to be there. We'll see how that works out. With everything they've got going on, you never know. April, we're looking to maybe have a meetup with the Bears up in the northern part of Indiana. We'll see how that plays out. Almond flour recipes are floating around again. Must be a holiday thing. The thing is driving me crazy. Computer chat and crazy cat. That's right. Tacos too. Pizza and round food cut into triangles and served in a square box. Right? Cindy says, not sure what to bring next week. Any ideas? Last time I brought what someone else brought was way too much of it. Just bring what you want. Bring what you want. Yeah, so Matt says yesterday they had so much food for their meetup yesterday. Surprised we didn't have duplicates of any of the food. Yeah. Pacemaker pizza is the very best pizza for you and me. Margarita Magnates is my favorite pizza. I don't know what that is. Yes, we are having a meetup on Saturday, November 9th. So next week in Amo, Indiana. You can find all the details that would be helpful if you were so interested in joining us at lowcarbevents.com. All the details were there, all the ways to get in touch with us and to send payment, all that stuff. Yes. Yes. Glad it's not at Plum's house. Yeah, me too. Yes. Evelyn says, I'm bringing keto Pennsylvania Dutch pumpkin pie and toffee coated pecans and something else. What? That's a lot anyway. Friendship bracelets. Hope and Andy were here yesterday, or were Hope and Andy there yesterday? If so, how are they holding up? Yeah, try to share their stuff out so people can get recognition and hopefully help them out so I can help get them all squared away. And hopefully insurance helps takes care of a lot of that too. So yeah. If anyone wants to bring an antipasto salad to the meetup, I'd be a happy camper. Sounds delicious. Hope you have a great rest of your day, bub. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. I hope to see you soon. Matt said, yes, they were. They are doing good. It's rough time, but they're taking care of things to get back on track. Well, that's good. Uh, Hope and Andy's last video was talking about how the insurance would barely pay off what they owe on the RV. Well, that's a problem because unfortunately for insurance, and I dealt with this for a long time. Um, because I dealt with total losses, so basically fires and all that stuff. So basically, the unfortunate thing is what you owe on something and what it's worth are usually two different things. The best case scenario is not owing anything and it being worth a lot. But a lot of times, what people get into is they get into like a financing on something, and because the way that financing works, unfortunately, is you're paying off the interest and everything up front. So, I mean, by the time you start adding to the principal and it starts bringing what you owe down, usually the cost, the value of the vehicle goes down much faster. So, unfortunately, when the insurance goes to pay out, they're only obligated to indemnify you or put you back where you were to prior to the loss, and that's to the value of where the vehicle was at the time of the loss. And I know it sucks, but they can't put you back to what you paid for it. They have to put you back on what it's worth. So that's where they would look at it. They know what it is. They know what the mileage is, most likely. They run the numbers, what it would be selling for. Typically, they're looking at what it would sell to a private seller in the best case scenario. And usually it's usually above a blue book value. Not always, but then that's what they would pay out. That, and unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean what you owe. But if you have a loan on it with gap coverage, then that should at least pay off the loan, and then you're just kind of stuck with a down payment and getting a new loan. That's the crap part of it. Um, you know, let's see. United Carnivore has a question. Do you have an opinion on food as being addictive or carb addiction? Well, I mean, as a person who has been had food addiction issues for most of my life, I mean, there's definitely food addiction issues, and I mean, realistically, it comes down to how you've dealt with things, how you deal with your emotions, and how you deal with your emotions and how that links with food really do play a role. That's like when you're a smoker and you get so stressed out because your body goes, "Hey, you want to have that cigarette." So you get stressed out, so you have an excuse to go walk away and have a cigarette. Food's kind of similar. But one thing I found is I am much better at managing this with this lifestyle. I have so much more control over the food, and food has less control over me. That doesn't mean food doesn't win. Food will still win sometimes because I'm a human being and I am sometimes tired or emotionally vulnerable or whatever you want to say. I don't want to say emotionally weak, but yeah, we have our weak moments where it kind of just slips in and just like, okay, like having a pizza. I can't say that I was having a bad day or anything like that. I was having a great day. We're getting ready to pass out candy. There was, we're having a good time. We're all ready to go. I went and picked up the girl from school, went to the post office and did all the normal stuff that day. I'm gonna sit down in the chair, had a fire going, gonna pass out candy, but I didn't have a chance to eat. And they were just like, "Yo, we're gonna stop and get hot and ready pizza." And I'm like, okay. It was just a momentary lapse in reason, if you will, for me. So it's just I don't know, but food can be very addictive. And it's usually addictive because it's linked with emotions. How you dealt with emotions as a kid, how you dealt with emotions as an adult. Usually food and emotions are linked, and that causes a coping mechanism which can be addictive. It's not, and I mean, and then the thing is you have to eat. You can't just forego food forever. Like you can quit smoking and never smoke again. But when it comes to food, you have to eat. It's just a matter of what do you choose to eat. And for most of the time, and my consistency is good, and I'm having, meat and eggs and, whatever, broccoli, normal stuff, right? Sometimes, sometimes that bad food sneaks in. Candy, well, not very, very rarely candy, because candy doesn't do a whole lot for me. And I know that candy is one of those things like one piece of candy is not going to do it for me. I'm not a one and done when it comes to candy. So like sitting there with a gigantic bowl of candy on Halloween is difficult. And I allowed myself a few pieces and I really felt crappy. So I'm like, ugh, oh, get until next year when candy's around again. But we don't keep candy in the house. I mean, sometimes we'll get smart sweets or whatever like that over one of the movies or whatever. But typically for us, candy's not the issue. But food is the issue. Pizza, that type of stuff. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Let me know if you want to know a little bit more, if you want me to dive a little deeper to a different direction. Sharon says, beginning March 4th, Hungry Heath and the Warden will begin their Hungry Horde road trip. Multiple stops along the way. Be on the lookout for stops and details to come. All right. Matt said, Hope and Andy are praying that the insurance will pay enough to break even on the RV. Anything else is a bonus. People saying that they're so sad for Andy and Hope. Went through the fire at my workplace. So devastating. Can't imagine my personal possessions. Oh, my goodness. I know. Maritza's in the house. Good morning, Maritza. 31 watching, only 12 likes. Please, please smash that like a button, please. The like a button. That's not what I wanted to. The YouTube changed things, and it drives me nuts when they change things. You know how they do. Move buttons around. In a mobile home, it's much better to get a replacement cost policy. Actual cost could leave you homeless. Oh, yeah, yeah. Didn't they sell everything, the house, and invested in an RV? Sean is here. Good morning, Sean. Yeah, I mean, you might have a little bit of a duck problem. I don't know. Yeah, so Cindy's sharing the GoFundMe link for Hope and Andy of Over Mission Keto. If you have anything, please give them something. That would be wonderful. People saying hello to each other. It's so easy on their way of life because we don't have to be hungry all day. Yeah, that's the thing is like if I'm not hungry and thinking about food, my problem last night is I like got busy yesterday and did a bunch of stuff and forgot to eat. I had I had leftover chili in the fridge and I was gonna air fry some hot dogs and put some chili over that and eat that, but then I just ran out of time. I was working on that Keto Chow short that I made. I hopefully you guys watched that. If you haven't, go take a look at it. I'd appreciate it. It's only 40 seconds. Um, click links and do all that stuff and, order a bunch of stuff through my link. That'd be cool. Um, you know, just and I, then when I got over to my buddy's house last night and there was candy and cookies and stuff, and I'm like hungry because I forgot to eat. I should have stopped and ate before leaving the house, but I was in a hurry. You know how it goes. Hope and Andy have been blessed with a place to stay for a couple of weeks while they sort the insurance out. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad that they have a place to stay. Rick, candy is delicious, but it's also not good at the same time. There are three constants in life: change, choice, and principles. Yes. We fear change. Have you ever been hit by change? It hurts. Let's see. Your answer was well put. I believe carb addiction is very real and that one cannot be addicted to food as we need to survive, as you said. We can't. Well, so the thing is, there's certain types of food that perpetuate hunger, and there's food that doesn't bring anything to the satiety side of things. So if you're consistently eating food that doesn't provide satiety and doesn't leave you actually feeling satisfied, it's going to be worse. So that's where things like poverty food. I call it poverty food, even though it's not necessarily that way anymore. It's basically everyday food for most people. Ramen noodles, macaroni and cheese, um, just basically, taquitos and frozen pizzas and all these things. They don't really provide you any satiety. You eat them until you can't eat anymore, but that's not satiety. That's basically stuffing yourself. That was one of the things that I had to figure out and I was able to learn with this lifestyle is the fact that if you're eating a proper diet, one that is heavy in animal protein, animal fats, you are going to learn and find satiety, not just find overstuffed. I ate for so long till I couldn't eat anymore, but I was never satisfied. I just couldn't physically eat anymore. Now, you will find with satiety that you don't want to eat anymore. And I think that's an important distinction that we need that comes along with this lifestyle. Satiety being that trigger in the brain that goes, "Hey, we're good now." Versus your stomach going, "If you eat any more, we're going to die." So I think food in of itself is not inherently the issue, but the type of foods that we do eat on a regular basis play into our satiety signaling, which lends itself to having a more addictive quality. To where if you can't get satisfied from food, then you're going to continually eat and feel worse. I don't know. Hopefully that helps. Evelyn says, now that I can last many hours without eating, it truly shocks me how people shovel food in all day long at school and then go to lunch saying they're starving. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to say, like, the average person eats about 19 times a day. What the duck is wrong with you? Right? What the duck is wrong with you, Heath? Brenda says, I'd be terrified to eat candy. And I would imagine, I mean, I resisted for a long time. And I think there's a point in time where, like, it probably would have been a very big backslide for me. But I think after doing it and living this way for 9 years, there's kind of a buildup where it's like, okay, now I can have a few pieces. I can't just have one, but I can have a few. But thankfully, there is that still some of that satiety. But I think that food is designed, and I want to touch on this too. There's food, and the way food is structured, I think, is designed to bypass our satiety signaling. So, and I think that is evolutionary. Okay. Typically, when we would be out getting meat and having meat and fat, we get to there's a satiety standpoint. The summertime, the spring, the summer, we've made it through winter. Now we're going to just coast. And then you kind of start coming up to the fall and the winter time, like the fall, where all the fruits and all the crops that may be grown, that may be growing wild at the time, or crops that have been cultivated, grains, wheats, things like that, berries, apples, whatever fruit is, native to where you are. I think those foods are designed to bypass satiety signaling processes to help fatten you up for winter. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, healthcare professional, or anything like that, but just kind of going based on how I have experienced food over the course of my life, going from somebody who would eat meat, basically, food that I would eat had would meat. The food that I would eat had meat in it. Meat top pizza or hamburgers or taquitos or whatever. There would be meat in my chicken nuggets. And it was very rare for me to go out and have a nice steak. But or just have a big old burger or something, but usually meat was a part of my meal, but it wasn't the focal point typically. It was always the side dishes, french fries or mashed potatoes or whatever, right? The highly palatable, highly carbohydrate laden foods, I think they're designed to bypass satiety signaling. And I mean, you can hear people talking, and I've heard podcasts and people saying, you're good when you go eat a big steak, maybe, have a nice big steak with a fatty steak or whatever, some bacon, and you're good. But if you add something on top of that, like mashed potatoes or macaroni and cheese or something that you could get at a nice fancy restaurant, sometimes on the side, then all of a sudden you're eating way more than you wanted to. You were full with the steak. Your body was good with the steak, provided it was a decent sized steak. Most steakhouses in the United States are giving you like a 6-ounce cut because they're going to load you down with bread. They're going to load you down with all these things and charge you a crazy amount for a 6-ounce steak. Whereas at home, you may have a 20-ounce or 24-ounce steak, maybe even a 2-pound steak. But that's what you're going to have for the night. You're not going to have all the sides. You're not going to have all of those satiety altering foods. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. I mean, maybe I'm completely missing the mark, but I think that I'm right. But I'm always willing to hear other arguments in the contrary. Obviously, I also fear learning how to spell correctly. You know what? That's fine. The F and the D are really close to each other on the keyboard. Okay, Heath? So just know you were just this far off. Wearing bacon seed hoodie to church. Well, I love it. Thank you, Jennifer, for wearing a bacon seeds hoodie. I love it. And hopefully Sharon Holloway and I can get together and get some merch out that I feel comfortable promoting. Something that it's a better price, better for you, better for me, better for everybody involved. We'll get it all squared away and all that fun stuff. Dustin says, I have to agree that eating before an event is almost a must, but my issue is having the right food ready to eat when you need it so there's no resistance to eating the right thing. And I mean, that's really for our house is set up that way. But leaving the house, like I can't just run through a drive-through somewhere typically. Yeah, I can just get meat patties, but that's not what I'm going to get. Now, if we had like an In-N-Out burger or something that I could run through and get a couple like, triple, 3x3, protein styles or whatever, it might be a little easier. You know what I mean? But we don't yet. I imagine the next 10 years we'll probably have In-N-Out burger here. Just a hunch. Andy said, we had ribeyes last night and played cards at the table since the house is too quiet with no TV or internet to enjoy ourselves. She beat me playing spades. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Since early man whose body was better at storing fat had a better chance, we would have been at an advantage. I would have been good. I could have lasted all winter, like 2 whole winters. Coffee and bacon jerky this morning. All right. Coffee for me this morning, won't eat until around 10:30. All right. Still no internet. Maritza's making coffee. How you dare. Cindy says, oops, sorry for the caps. LOL. 40 hours without internet. I could have died. Dang. Candy is a no-go for me. I get hormonally induced extreme Tourette's inducing leg cramps that can drop me to the floor. Ugh, no good. Well, I'm sorry. I tried going back to bed. TT at TTYL. They should be coming this morning. Well, I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. John Gugahan is heading to church. Thank you, sir. Enjoy listening. Have a great day, everyone. Well, thank you for being here, Mr. Gugahan. I truly appreciate you and have a great day and be safe, my friend. I totally get it. Time to changes. The time change always messes up. This time doesn't really bother me. I got an extra hour. I'm good. I actually slept all night too. It was great. Amy says, I can't have any candy or cheat food with gluten in it. If I do, my body hurts so bad I literally become crippled and can't walk for a week. I know when I've had something bad at a restaurant. Yeah, that's one thing. Like when you go to a restaurant, you order wings and they're supposed to be naked wings and they've got like a light wheat coating on them or whatever, because you can taste it. You can just taste it in there. But good morning, Amy. I'm glad you're here with us today. Let's see. And if you have any questions about the music stuff, maybe we can figure something out today. We'll get together and talk about it. Because I always look at that and try to look at. I only use music that I don't have to worry about any attributions or anything like that. Or sometimes the most is just have to put their name in the description and then it's fine. Thanksgiving in the past. Ugh, I can't eat another bite. But more pie. Oh, that is one thing this year for Thanksgiving that I do want. I do want a store-bought apple pie. I do love apple pie. Well, we'll have to get together. We'll have to video chat or something sometime in the next week or something or 2 weeks. Just let me know. reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or whatever we can talk about it. I'd like to get something going hopefully before Christmas time, but I know that life is busy and everybody's busy, so I know how it is. Sean said our middle child used to always say the dessert portion of his stomach wasn't full whenever he was stuffed. We told him that he couldn't eat dessert. Oh man. Like the way my stomach is set up, I can't have any more meat, but could you pass me some pudding? Coffee and pulled pork for breakfast. All right. Thawing has begun. Next, the brining. Off to church. Well, be safe, my friend. We will see you soon, dear. Howdy doodle, Chris Cook in Nashville. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, Ash and Mel. I know you're there somewhere. I didn't think Indiana did the time change thing. We didn't for a long time. For a long time, it was Indiana and Arizona didn't time change. So 6 months out of the year, we were on Eastern time, and 6 months out of the year, we were on Chicago time. And finally, they just put us on Eastern time all the time. Now, there's a part of Indiana that's on Central time, like up towards like Gary and Hobart and that kind of stuff that's closer to the Chicagoland area. And that makes sense. The people who commute to and from Chicago makes sense. But for Central Indiana, everybody else, we're all in Eastern time. Cindy's saying, thank you again for yesterday, Chris. They had a blast. I'm so glad to hear it. Making memories for life. That's a valid question. It's like now, Amy, because of the issues with gluten, do you find yourself nervous to go out to eat? Evelyn's asking, why don't we make a chayote faux apple pie? Because I want real apple pie. Yeah, because that's what I want. Because realistically, if I want to, because I don't like sometimes just like the real thing is what I want. Because I don't really want it enough to where like the fake thing is even worth it to me. I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm just weird. Dustin wants pulled pork now. Thanks, Maritza. Ja is here. Hey, Ja, how are we doing? Thank you for being here. Carnivore says, gotta run. Thanks for your opinion, and I hope you and everyone have an incredible Sunday. All the best. Well, thank you, sir. Hope to see you again real soon. I appreciate you being here. I figured you'd get it. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Chris, have you got a good pie crust recipe for chayote squash mock apple pie? Ash and Mel say hello. We just got up. Cindy and Brian party hard. Well, I can imagine Brian does. Cindy, she doesn't party. Hey, Jennifer, I have a recipe for pumpkin pie you could use the crust from. Haven't done this mock apple pie, though. It's like Dustin, like me, you like the sugar buzz. Realistically, it's not so much the sugar. Like, if it didn't have the sugar in it, I wouldn't care. But really, it's just like I'd rather have the apples. And I know there's sugar in the cinnamon. I get it. And I do substitutes on just about everything else. I don't know. Call me crazy. Really, I just don't want to make it. I just go buy it. I was thinking about buying one from Costco. I just got to buy it like a week in advance and hopefully it lasts. Because getting like one the day before is impossible. That's the problem. So I probably have to buy one a week before and like hide it in the pantry or something. I don't know. hide it in the garage. It'll be cold enough in the garage. I'm gonna be cooking like 2 turkeys, and Chandra works on Thanksgiving Day. That's her holiday to work. And then I don't know, I think she might be working the next day too. I don't know for sure. And it's just gonna be like trying to fit it all in, trying to do everything. And like to me, just buying the pie makes my life more simplistic. And I think that's a big part of it too. Like, yes, I could go in and make like for the first few years, I went through and made everything. I made all the replacements. I made all the things keto, and it took me like 2+ days to cook everything. Like just in the kitchen nonstop for like 2 days. I was making the keto stuffing and all the different things and the keto mashed potatoes and like yeah, I mean, it was good, but it was so much work that now we've really just pared it down to where we do turkey and maybe I might make some like another like maybe a side dish. I usually make a couple like mostly a bunch of vegetables. I'll roast broccoli, I'll make some Brussels sprouts, maybe make some green beans. And I try to simplify it because it's a day to spend with family and I don't want to spend my entire day cooking. So I try to make it so I just basically get up, get the turkeys ready, I get one in the oven. As soon as it comes out, put the next one in the oven. Because I did smoke one and it just didn't turn out the way I liked it. So I just put them in an oven bag and bake them in the oven until they're done. Then I just swap them out and cook the next one. Basically prep them and then get one in and then the other one right after. And I make vegetables and then we're good. And I know our one boy, he requests a ham. So we get a little, I bought the ham already. It's a honey ham for him. So it's not a big deal, but it's good through like December. So I don't have to worry about it. I bought it. It's in the fridge. That's one thing done. As we get closer to Thanksgiving, I'll buy 2 turkeys. The problem is I usually got to buy fresh like 2 days before and then find room in the fridge. So like coming up on Thanksgiving, I gotta like empty out the fridge so I can have room in the fridge. And then I cook those and then basically just make vegetables because I just don't. I used to make the stuffing and gravy, and I just don't care anymore. That's where it comes down to like that apple pie. I'm like, okay, is it the best option? No. Are there low carb keto options? Yes, but do I have to make them? I don't want to. So, I mean, realistically, to me, it's one day. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have that attitude, but that's just how I am right now. I'm guessing the helmet came out without failures. What part are you on to printing now? And they're talking about the helmet came out perfect. Only took 24 hours. Finished a blaster. Now to work on the leg armor and the gauntlets. Yes. Yes. Mm. Ah. I'll send you a pic of the helmet on Mighty Networks. All right. So, how is everybody doing today? You know, uh, now I'm looking up apple pie filling. Yeah, there's the chiote stuff. I saw that there are people maybe even have used other kind of squash and stuff. Sharon says, my husband and son are carb burners, so for the holidays, they like traditional foods. I just have for me what I prefer to eat. Yeah. Scott is here. Platte River Keto. Good morning, friends. Yeah, they're using a squash as a replacement for apples. Yeah, you can do. I just like for me, really, I'm just like, you know what? I just want apple pie. I know it's silly. Tired. Got home at 1:30 in the morning, looked at my watch, a half hour later, it was 1. Yeah, I'm doing great. Blood work check out this week. Excellent results. Fantastic. Chris said, just made iced butter lattes. About to be a lot better. Yeah. Mm. Scott says, I've been on the struggle bus for a few weeks. I know that much, though. I feel like trash when I don't eat keto. Good reminder for me, I guess. That's the thing. So that's the thing. Like, no matter how much I understand I'm not going to feel my best eating stupid foods, there are times where I just want to do it anyway. And that's the transparency. I mean, for me, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how it is. I'm going to tell you how I am, what I'm thinking, and I don't know. I'm going to do everything in my power for the next month outside of Thanksgiving Day to be on track. I mean, tonight, unfortunately, the kids want macaroni and cheese for Sunday dinner, so that's what they're going to get. They do make it difficult, I'll tell you that. Yvonne says, I smoke a chuck roast this Thanksgiving instead of turkey. The family wants ham with all the carb sides. I'll make them, but not eat them on that and anything sweet. I'll have to make by yeah, that's the yeah. And we did that for years. We've done this for 9 we're on like year 9. Okay? And we went through and made all the zero, all the low carb replacements to everything. And we just simplified it over time. And I kind of look at it like I'm eating just turkey and vegetables. And, and like for me, I look at it to where if I'm going to make like a keto friendly dessert, I'm probably going to eat way more. I don't know. I mean, I'm just making excuses because I want the apple pie. I mean, I just want the apple pie. I mean, I know that sounds counterintuitive and all that stuff, but like, it is kind of a grandma thing because my grandmother always made me apple pies, or for my birthday, she'd make me these eclair cakes, or something. But she would also, for Christmas, she'd buy sugar cream pies, which those were good, but I don't really miss those very much. They were good, but they were weird, and I just haven't had one in a long time. Um, yeah, I just, I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna make 2 turkeys and have all that. It'll be great. Let's see. That is awesome, Sharon. My last visit to my doctor told me my blood work was better than hers. I asked her, "Whoa, what does that tell you?" What did she say to that, Cindy? My dog sat on Halloween and only had a couple pieces of candy. Well, that's a win, right? People saying hello to Yvonne. We bought a Costco sized bag of candy to give out for Halloween. We bought 2. I bought the chocolate bag and like the fruity bag. Just mix them together in a big bowl. And basically we basically the last couple of kids get huge big piles of candy. So we don't have any to come back on the house. Um then realized we had a bowl that night. So gave a bag to our neighbor. That way I wouldn't get into them and didn't and we'll have chalk zero. Yeah. It's recreational drug use. We're adults who can choose to do so. I do the same and go back the next day. It's life and it's not perfect, but I love living it. That's the thing. Like, I kind of feel like as a public facing person in this space, I kind of have to, I feel like I should feel shame about it. Like, I should feel like I shouldn't want to eat the apple pie. And I mean, I know it's not the best choice for me to make, but it's still a choice that I can make. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is recreational and it's delicious. And I just want apple pie. And it reminds me of my grandma. And I don't know. It's silly. And again, emotions, you know? My doctor said in response about my blood work, I know you're right. That's the thing is like, but will they do anything about it? You just need to know yourself. If you can handle the apple pie, have the apple pie. I'm just 24 hours keto again, and it feels like double A. I'm Scott, and I'm a carbaholic. Yeah, or A. Yeah, AA. Yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, it's easy to. I mean, for me, it's always back the next day because I know how I feel better. I'm going to get up the next day, have my coffee, maybe have some eggs, some burger, leftover steak, whatever, some hot dogs, even some mustard, whatever. But always the next day, I'm back to normal. I've been doing this long enough to where very rarely do we have more than one meal in a row that's off plan. You know, and I mean, I'm very and realistically, this Sundays and Tuesdays and all the lives and the videos and things, they do keep me accountable. You guys keep me accountable. Chris says, I think even the biggest creators occasionally have stuff. I've heard many of them mention it. I gave up the shame a long time ago because they only answer to me every day for my food choices. Yeah. And I understand this. And I just kind of feel like there's a part of me that feels like, well, I am somebody that somebody looks up to. But that's why I have to be transparent. I'm not going to sit here on a Sunday morning and tell you guys, I made it through Halloween and didn't have any candy when I was over there like a little greedy little child having like 10 pieces of candy. Or that I sat there and ate pizza like a fatty. Like, and I know that's bad, but I mean, nothing makes you, I mean, that was like a shameful feeling in myself. Like, sitting there eating pizza, handing out candy. And I'm like, but I'm going to tell you about it because that's transparency. And that's, I think, very important in this because there's no reason for me to withhold information. Shauna, what are you doing awake so early? She said, coffee. Good morning from the left coast. I'm glad you're here, Shauna. I'm sure you're probably wishing you were still asleep. I have always had to make my own fall baked goods, being that I'm allergic to cinnamon. So subbing to keto is easy because I could never have it for convenience. Okay. Oh, cinnamon is, I couldn't imagine. I'm so sorry, Evelyn. Mm. Look at that. The hearts for Shauna. Purple love hearts. Sean and I were talking about this yesterday. It would be hard for me to eat something that I'm addicted to. I can't have one or two French fries. I will eat the entire serving and go back for more. Well, that's the thing is like over time, things like French fries have lost their luster. Things that used to be something that would be so good have lost kind of their like I say every Friday I take the girl to Culver's. That's what she wants to do. She wants to go to Culver's. She gets French fries and some ice cream. She likes to dip her French fries in the ice cream. We get to sit and spend time together and talk and giggle and have a good time. And she tells me about boys at school, and I get frustrated because she's 6 and shouldn't be looking at boys at school. And you know, the normal stuff, right? And she gives me a handful of French fries. She doesn't like the little crispy ones, so she gives those to me. And we've talked about this, and I could be like, I'm not eating those, but how many of these times am I going to have where I'm spending them with her? I mean, a few French fries on a Friday isn't going to be the end of me because I don't go and really order my own fries. They don't really taste that good. And they're okay. There's things I would rather have. I'd rather have Thai food, or I'd rather have pizza, or I'd rather have sushi. But French fries, I mean, on a rare occasion, French fries are really, if I'm really in the mood for French fries, then I might go get some. And that's my thing. If I really want something, I'm going to go get it. because I kind of feel if I deny myself something, if I give the food that kind of power, then I'm at a disadvantage. So if in my mind I can have whatever I want whenever I want, the food lacks power. And at least that works for me. I know that maybe not everybody can work with that mindset, but if I go, I can go to McDonald's. There's some McDonald's right down the street. There's new warehouses around the corner from me. There's a McDonald's and a Starbucks right there, like 2 blocks away. I can go to McDonald's. I can go get a couple McGriddles right now if I wanted to. Hash browns, whatever. Pancakes. I can go get whatever I want. There's a great breakfast spot up the street from my house too. I can go. They have great pancakes. If I wanted those, I can go get them. I can go and do whatever I want. I just have grown the mindset that on a normal basis, I don't want those things. I want to go downstairs and make some scrambled eggs and maybe put some sardines in there or have a couple of burger patties or some sausage patties or whatever. The fact is that if I decide that I want something, I'm going to allow myself to have it because when I deny it and I make food something that is all powerful, that I have to be afraid of it, but I don't really have food allergies, so that's not something that I have to worry about. I don't have things that really tear me up. Like I don't have a gluten intolerance. I don't have any lactose intolerance. I don't have any of that. So that's not something that truly bothers me. So for me, it comes down to choice. I choose 98% of the time not to eat the things because I don't really want them. And I have to decide for myself, am I going to allow the food to control me or am I going to allow myself to control the food? And that's why I think, like, my idea, knowing that going into Thanksgiving, I want apple pie, I'm going to get an apple pie. And I mean, chances are the apple pie I want is going to be sold out and I won't get it anyway. So I'll probably have to settle for going to Walmart and getting one of those. Then I'll be disappointed. But that is what it is, and that's just life, right? I agree, Scott. Way to go. 24 hours. Every little bit is a huge win. Oh, yeah, she says, I was in bed early, woke up in a really bad pain. Well, I'm so sorry, Shauna. I heard about that. You were talking about on the live with Helly and Heath, with Heath and Shelley. And Chris says, absolutely. Transparency help those look up to you to realize you're a real person. Perfection isn't obtainable, but doing better and growing is. That's the thing. Like, I'm going to sit here and try to tell you about my flaws, about my strengths, my weaknesses, everything, because I didn't get here overnight. When I first started this, I had no idea what I was doing. 8, 9 years in, I only have a good understanding of what I'm doing, right? You know? Matt says, I'm the same way. I have trigger foods that I won't stop eating if I have just one. And that's one of the things like, okay, we don't keep those things in the house. So even if we had a situation where something did bother me and I had it, like French fries. Say I had some French fries and I order some, but we don't have them in the house. I can't just keep eating them. I would just get the order and be done. You know what I mean? I got it for the heating pad. I feel that. Shauna says, I've been using the over-the-counter Stello CGM by Dexcom. It's been very educational for knowing how my body reacts to even low-carb foods. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully I have a CGM up in the cabinet that somebody gifted to me. I just haven't brought it out. I may bring that out the beginning of the year. Yeah, so Shauna fell on Friday, so hopefully she feels better. And then people are asking how she's feeling, how her back and hip is. Matt said transparency is important. Sarah Joy is very transparent when she talks about her keto journey and the struggles. I think because we all share similar struggles. We all have similar stories. Not everybody's story is the same, but we all started somewhere. We found out about this and we're working our way through it. We're trying to lose weight. We're trying to get mental clarity. We're trying to learn how to understand our bodies, how to fuel our bodies appropriately to feel our best. But we have to remember that even our ancestors had pie. Even our ancestors had celebrations. That's where, one of the things about like food, food isn't entertainment, food isn't celebration, but it is. Getting together with food and bounty and harvest and getting together with everybody and sharing in the hard work is huge. Now, granted, these days, the hard work is going to the grocery store and putting something in the microwave, maybe, or the oven. But if we think about it, these all get passed down generation to generation, and I think it's important for us to be together. Now, is it around food? We just got to make better food choices. Yeah, I was hoping you heal. Yeah, so oh no, Sean, I hope you heal quickly. Sending love and prayers. Yes, Evelyn, we love Shauna and we want her to feel better. There are a few carb foods that hold the same draw to me anymore. And when I do allow myself to have something, I find it's not as good as I remember. Meat, salt, water the next day, get me back in line. Yeah, that's the one of the weird things is things that you remember are never as good as you wanted them to be. Um, no, every once in a while, there's also sometimes things that are better than you remember. Like, so for Valentine's Day, Shane and I had plans to go out to dinner. But we ended up at the car dealership helping our oldest get into a new car, and that takes all night. And by the time we got done with the car dealership, restaurants were closing and there was nowhere to go. And we thought about maybe stopping and getting a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza because we hadn't had one in forever. Since now I still didn't have one until this week. But we decided to go to Walmart and look around and see what they had. So we decided on getting some ramen noodles. And I told this story around that time as well. But I'll tell you what, ramen noodles were such a staple in our diet pre keto because they're cheap, super cheap. And, you could feed the entire family for about $1.50. And that's huge when you got a family of 5 and everybody's hungry and money's low. You just do what you got to, right? And we went back and we made this and we had them. And I'll tell you what, sometimes some of the worst food is some of the best tasting stuff. It was like we were sitting there like, oh my goodness, how good is this? And it's just crazy. Like, but then you think about something like how much you used to enjoy, like Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell doesn't even taste that great. Like we ate Taco Bell so much. Now, did it taste great back then? Not really. But it was you get a whole big bag of food for $20. Feed everybody for $20 on a Friday night or whatever. Yeah, I mean, in general, so chicken, well, just Chinese food in general was always good. Like House My Fun or like House Lo Mein or like, oh, I still every once in a while still want a shrimp egg roll. Sometimes that just sounds good. It's probably, but if they just don't taste as good because the oils taste bad now. If that makes any sense. Like once you're kind of done with it, you just know how oils taste different now. And then Chris says, plus feeling like crud after having something carby is a good reminder why I don't do it often anymore. Yeah. I mean, I remember like one of the first times we had a big cheat meal after being on this lifestyle was at Christmas Day. And we're all sitting around watching like Disney Channel or Disney Plus, watching old Disney movies. And we ordered Chinese food, went and picked it up. I'll tell you what, that carb nap that hits after having Chinese food leaves you feeling so awful. Like, I think we've had Chinese food once or twice since, in like 8 years. But then we'll go get Thai food, but Thai food's different. Thai food is a different type of food. It's cooked differently, has different ingredients. I don't know. Yeah, Shauna says she's hurting on our heating pad right now. Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. Len says, "Oh yes, I want to try the CGM. Saw some bad reviews, so I haven't done it yet. Glad it's working great for you." Yeah, I think they're going to get better. Scott says, "Rucking time with my dogs. I'll be ear hustling as usual. I really appreciate your perspective in this space, Dustin. It definitely speaks to me." Well, I appreciate you, my friend. And I look up to you because you're out there walking. Even if you may not be eating what you need to be eating every day, you're still out there putting that ruck on. You're walking with your dogs. You're getting out there. You're getting moving. That's impressive to me. And it is something that is inspirational to me. And I truly appreciate that. Brenda says, I think back when my children were young, they did eat fries. They did not eat fries or bun. That should tell you something. I remember thinking all they wanted was the toy. Well, I'll tell you, like my granddaughter, she'll want McDonald's, but she won't eat all of it. Or like when she went the other day, she wanted McDonald's breakfast. She's got all the pancakes, the hash browns. She like just barely nibbles at it, but she only nibbles at food anyway. But she'll eat French fries. She loves French fries. Joe said, I used to love bread and grits. That was the hardest things to give up. Now I find bread very tasteless and I don't want them. I haven't had grits in over 5 years. Sometimes I think I want them, but no. Now, certain types of bread do. They're just not great. But there was a loaf of bread that Costco got in for a while. They had it just one time. And it was like this big, huge loaf of like an Italian loaf with whole cloves of garlic in it. Split it in half, oil, butter, a lot of cheese, put it in the oven. I'll tell you what, you know, yeah. And Sharon says making the choice to have a higher carb food is your choice, but I think beating yourself up about it after is worse than the stress and guilt of the actual food. I agree. I think really the stress comes from the worry that, people are going to think less of me. People are going to be like, well, you should do better. You are a front facing person. You should do better. And I mean, there's a definite thing about that is true. But yeah. And Chris says, great point, Dustin. The ability to have something on a rare occasion and go back to carnivore actually makes me feel in control of what I used to be a fear and lack of control of. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is just having the control. The control is the biggest piece of it, and having that control and making sure that I am in control of the food and I am making the decisions. It's those really strange times like the other day where they're like, do you want it? I'm like, yes. It was like, am I in control or was the food in control? Those things are like they kind of doubt yourself a little bit. And then you're sitting there eating it going, oh, this was a bad choice, you know? But I used to eat those every Sunday, especially during football season. I go to my buddy's house because he had a big screen TV at the time. And this was like 2005, 2006. And, not everybody had big screens at the time. And so we'd go to his house to watch football. And so we would go before the game started, we'd go to get a hot and ready pizza and basically eat that and just while we watch football. Shauna, you didn't break your tailbone when you fell, did you? Just bruises? I know it's hard to sit in those times. I have done that. Oh, it sounds so awful. I'm so sorry. Yes, Hellion Sheath. Yes. That just goes to how far I'm behind. Let's see. Just enough padding not to hit my tailbone, lower back, and hip. Well, when it does not have its limitations, it's not 100% perfect. It's okay. I just want to use my CGM out of curiosity. I think it would be very beneficial. I'll get one eventually. Yeah. Okay, enough about food. Going to go make bacon and eggs. Have a great week. Thank you, Brenda. I truly appreciate you. Have some bacon for me, please. That means I have to make some bacon today, too. Yeah, the cultural and social implications about food are ingrained deeply. Right or wrong, it's real. Finding out how to eat food or eat good food without losing that helps what people think we're not crazy. Yeah. And I know there's so many people out there that just really harp on that whole like food is fuel and that's all it is. And I'm like, but it's not. No matter how much you want to think that, it's not. So I'm back. Feels so much better. Well, I'm glad, Andy. Oh, let's see. Some things are stopped going at a particular diner because they serve the best crunchy tater tots. Thankfully, not in my town. Isaac Love, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you for being here. I think this may be your first time, if I'm not mistaken. It says, I've lost over 20 pounds in September, eating only fish, mostly sardines and eggs, drinking only water, flat and sparkling. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I truly appreciate that. It's always good to see new people come in and share their experiences and their successes. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Carl says, until I started eating clean, I never knew how good a steak smothered with butter really was. 100%. Joe, my A1C has been creeping up for the last year. In 3 months, it dropped. I dropped it from 5.9 to 5.3 in 3 months. Knowledge is great. Yeah, I need to do that too to see like what's really impacting me, to be honest with you. So I think there's a lot of things that we do that we assume are good, but they're not. Oh, can't drink from that. Ramen was never something we ate. We had potatoes we raised in our gardens. Supper was sometimes just boiled potatoes and margarine, because that's all we had. Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things like when I was a kid, my mom bought ramen noodles, but she didn't feed them to us. She liked them. And then when I started living on my own, ramen noodles became kind of a thing because you could buy like huge boxes of ramen noodles for dollars. Because back then they were like 20 cents a package. So five for $1. And you'd eat two packages. So you're looking at 40-cent meals. But then you start adding stuff to it like cheese and all this stuff. And then it becomes, a little more expensive. But even still, it's still like you're eating for less than like $2 mostly. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was just like when you're a kid and you have your first apartment and you can't afford anything else because you've done stupid stuff like go out drinking, you know, the fear of seed oils keeps me away from McDonald's. I crave filet of fish so badly. The crispy chicken sandwich, oh, so good. I drive past and didn't stop, but the craving is still there. Um, I do have a bag of frozen cod in my freezer, and I'm going to try out my liquid batter that I've made chicken strips out of before and try to see how it turns out on fish. I just got to thaw the fish out, and then maybe fish. It might be better because it's probably pre-cooked fish. Probably better to dump it out in frozen and see how it turns out. We'll have to see. Biblopop. I don't know what is this. I don't know what we're talking about. Portion or can you dish it up? I don't know what that is. Jungle Jim's has fruitcake bread that is delicious around this time of year. I'm craving it as well, but a struggle every day. I'm glad we don't live that close. Yeah, that is a significant drop. I'm super proud of you. Let's see here. I'm going to grab through the last couple of these and then we're going to call it a day. It's a little early today, but I'm almost out of coffee. But I just want to jump through the last of these comments and say thank you to everybody. Lisa says, hi, I'm late. Sorry I'm late getting ready for church. Well, enjoy your church. Thank you for joining us even for a little bit. Let's see. Joe says, I'm up in Western North Carolina this week. Easy to clean out the fridge, but cleaning out the freezer hurt. Ended up 25 pounds of ground beef, steaks, and roasts that hurt, but I have in my house. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's not talk about going to the doctor. The last on my to-do list is everything to put above that. Yeah. Let's see. I lived on ramen and bologna when I had no money. Glad it's not the position anymore, but we have to. Yeah, I mean, when you're young and you have no money, that's what you got to do. Yeah. The Long John Silver's thing. Everyone looks and tastes like fish. I love it. Yes, have a great day, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you, all of you that are members. I truly appreciate all of you. Thank you so, so very much, everybody, for being here. You mean the world to me. You make the week wonderful. And thank you all so much for getting up early with me. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all again. Truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Bye bye, everybody.